Good evening, everyone, and welcome to A Link to the Past Randomizer Casual Boots Tournament Group B matchup between JP BrewersFanJP on the left and ph112358 on the right. I am Maniacal, and I am joined today by Blue Link P3. How are you doing tonight, Blue Link?
I'm doing great. Yeah, more rando, more casual boots. Always exciting.
Yeah, I'm actually really stoked. There have been so many good matchups this tournament, and a lot of them have dodged restream, and I'm really excited that we're getting to feature this one, and that Rick has gotten us some prime billing here on SG. JP and PH are both fantastic runners, and this is actually a really important race for how this group is going to play out. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
Yeah, that is definitely true. JP sitting at 4-1. This is his last race. PH at 1-2 needs to win all 3 of his remaining races to be in contention for brackets.
Yeah, and I was talking to PH a little bit pre-race, and so JP is up 1-0 on PH, which means that PH has split with Specs, who is also at 4-2 in this group. This group was stacked, and has 2 remaining matches against Jupiter Exile, who is presently 0-4 in the group. And so PH would need to win this one and win both against Jupiter Exile in order to force what I believe to be a playoff scenario. I would have to reconsult the rules document, but the runners are underway. And so that's kind of the situation that they both find themselves in. JP wins. JP will lock up the 1 seed out of the group at 5-1, with Specs taking the 2nd seed. And if PH wins this and then proceeds to win his other 2 remaining matches, I think it would go to a playoff.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure either, but either way, it will be exciting.
Yeah, and also, before we get too deep into this, and while the runners are doing the escape that is largely just under or over 5 minutes of kind of roughly scripted content, where sometimes we get some cool items and sometimes we don't have all that much to talk about. Did want to shout out our tracker, Dylan Lee, who doesn't seem to have even found a home on the layout on this one. So much appreciation to Dylan for the thankless tracking job, and Andrasi for setting this one up, and Rick in the background for getting this a channel last minute.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that goes into doing this. Obviously, as the commentators, we get the most attention, but thank you to everyone basically making this happen.
Yeah, I'd say we want to be sure the runners get the most attention. But
I mean, besides the runners.
Yeah, but folks get to listen to us chat about whatever's going on. So far, nothing too much to talk about from this one. Slight strat variations. PH having a little bit of trouble with that spin, just like JP getting a bit of a clink. Maybe some early race nerves for both runners. Room's not quite working out the way you would draw them up, but both runners moving respectably through the escape. I think we're probably going to see an 8/ ball and chain from each of them coming up.
Yeah, that seems to be the go-to strat for most runners. And by the way, we are listening to JP's audio. This is the Tunic MSU. Nice glove.
Yeah, that's our first really interesting thing. I'm not familiar with the Tunic MSU. I've heard good things about it. Have you played Tunic?
I have not. I actually hadn't heard of it outside of this MSU, in fact.
Okay. A lot of folks are raving about the game, honestly. I've had a lot of friends tell me that it's one that I should probably pick up, but haven't gotten to it yet because I've been too busy playing old games from 1991 and such. Just randomized versions. If you want to play a randomized game from 1991, but you want Tunic sounds, you too could use the Tunic MSU. PH does not have usable audio today, so the Tunic MSU is what we've got for this one. JP stopping and grabbing a heart there, and PH just cruising on the 2 hearts he had.
And very importantly, JP holding a 1 rupee lead over PH.
Yeah, that 1 rupee could become relevant. We will see. I recently saw Kiki refuse to even follow someone for having 8 rupees. Not a 1 rupee difference, but single rupees can make a difference in mattering. In some cases, I definitely have had to farm the 1 from 4.99 for Zora before. So,
speaking of single rupees,
awfully apropos there. Thank you, Dark Cross. Let's see. How is Kirak going to be today? Peach, not handling it perfectly, but getting a really nice key rat position. JP getting Seattle Rat going to set him back just a little bit further. But both runners are making good time through this escape.
Oh, okay, mitts and a bow and oh my god, and powder. Wow.
Nice back of escape. I don't believe we've seen the map yet.
I don't think so either.
Unless it was in the Boomguard chest.
I think that was the key. Let's see.
Okay, yeah, that would make sense. Yeah, that would have had to be the key. Oh, very first chest was the map. Thanks to Superman Taylor, who's keeping me honest. See, this is what happens when I don't pay much attention. Luckily, PH was paying attention and got the Master Sword, and I imagine JP was as well.
Yeah, I am liable to have walked right past that if I was playing.
If I was playing, I almost assuredly would have just default opened it, if any doubt. But, oh, and JP going right out of Sanctuary, so what is... Oh, we want Kingston. This makes sense. Okay, yeah, so PH doing the bonk rocks and up. We'll see when he decides to go for Kingston with that early mitts. Nice 100 rupees, and JP is going to be all set for Bottle Vendor.
We did get a very quick map check from JP. We have Green Pendant Hera, Crystal Eastern, and Vanilla Blue Pendant at Desert.
I'm glad you saw that.
Oh, that looks important.
That is a rod of some form. That does look important. I don't know which sort of important it is.
Yeah.
But definitely unique. Oh, it was a hammer. Okay.
The Rod of Smashy Smash. Okay.
Yeah, the Rod of Womps. Okay. So yeah, hammer, even better to know about that early. Looks like JP is headed that way too. But yeah, hammer. I mean, with the Specky Clip and Swamp legal, there is a layout. But I don't think we're going to see our runners gamble on that today. Yeah, that's a hammer. A little bit pixely on the restream for the commentators, like the Discord restream client. So sometimes things don't come through quite great on the resolution. And PH is going to farm some bombs, or it looks like a bomb. And we'll see what JP does.
With 2 pendants in the light world, I think we are absolutely guaranteed to need that hammer. I mean,
yeah,
we probably were anyway.
Yeah, if we have double pendant light world, yeah, absolutely. Even 1 pendant light world, and we're kind of stuck because you need it for Pod, Ice, and Turtle Rock, and then Swamp being the 4th one that you can get around, assuming the hook shot is available. And JP also going to farm at least 1 bomb. We'll see if he goes for 2. Looks like 1 bomb is the choice.
And 1 is enough, because we got some bombs in Blind's basement.
Yep. PH picked up 3, and so that will take care of the rest of Kakariko quite cozily. And the 100 rupees that JP got from King's Tomb is not going to be making a huge difference here for PH's ability to finish, as we see 300 rupees in the back of the well, as well as the lamp.
So that puts Aga in logic.
Yep, we got Master Sword, we got lamp, we got a known hammer. PH is going to save him quick. I wonder if we're just getting the rush Aga, get hammer. We've got powder, we're coming back to Kakariko. Get your hammer and come back and do Magic Bat. don't want to even go any lower in the village. It's all single item checks anyway, so I kind of actually like this.
Yeah, like, you're not going to find anything really that's going to make Aga Tower faster, except maybe another sword.
Yeah, sword, half magic fire rod, tends to do pretty well. Pick up, silvers or something. I probably would have finished a little bit more village personally, but like I definitely understand this call. Especially with the seed giving that access prominently. PH looking for, a need to win situation here, and this is a way to do it. Nice NMG strats. Also, PH tons of reps in NMG. Also, Chicken Hut had that tempered sword, so
wow.
But PH is used to master sword climb, so has good strats. We saw good sword beam blue guards preserving his drop, even though the prize packs are randomized. You'll love to see it.
And a sick kid with Cane of Samaria for us.
That's not going to make much of a difference for Castle Tower. And again, I'm sure PH is going to be back in the village soon enough. But we'll see how this shakes out. Library not important, and we'll see what JP does about race game. Looks like we're going to scout it. And it's bombs. So now we get to see, does JP immediately rush Castle Tower? And this was kind of the risk for PH, is he's in a little bit of a health situation here, does have that blue potion, is going to use it proactively. I don't hate it. You take a bad hit from these red guards, and I mean, then you're back to the beginning, and that's like lose the race immediately territory. So we didn't want to see that. And it looks like JP is actually going to go for that Crystal Eastern, also very reasonable. Although PH will be guaranteed because of the hammer to be able to double that up with pod, although depending on where a mirror is, it may or may not be efficient.
So I thought I saw a rod of some kind on Lake Hylia Island. Chat is saying it was the fire rod.
I will believe chat. I was watching this Aga Tower climb that was getting a little scary, so I wasn't seeing any items there for a moment. But it looks like we're into the Aga fight and into Eastern here. So far, Aga being reasonable. That teleport, not great, but at least no blue balls.
And an early big key in Eastern.
Yeah, that's potentially nice, depending on when you're back to it, depending on just how jetty this seed turns out to be. So far, it's been pretty cozy. Other than the hammer, but like at least it's known and available early. And that was a 0 blue ball, I think.
Wow, that is something you don't see every day.
Yeah, not the most common.
Okay, Pendant Skullwoods.
And Red Crystal's Pod and Mire, if I caught it right.
I think so. And the Mire was a vanilla number 6.
Spunky is gonna go get the blue boomerang, and then probably save and quit. And I expect this to be immediate hammer grab and go back to Kakariko, and maybe groan a little bit about that tempered sword. But honestly, Peach has enough reps at NMG that like he has plenty of good master sword strats in order. Yeah, JP did not have to contend with all these graveyard pose, having gotten King's Tomb prior to doing Castle Tower. Still having not done Castle Tower, for that matter. But, I mean, I think that the plays the runners have been making are largely going to play out to be zero-sum unless something very strange happens. So we should see at least this part of the race come down to a differential only based on execution, which won't be huge in favor of either runner.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that assessment.
Yeah, I mean, both runners are excellent players, have plenty of experience. PH, newer to the community, probably started playing 2-ish years ago, but has put a ton of work in. And now has the hammer and will be able to consolidate some of the routing in Lower Kakariko Village. So, I mean, maybe that moves the needle just a little bit, but not having the Tempered Sword could cost a little bit of that. So we'll see how this all goes. Looks like we're starting from back at Tavern for PH's route. I'm curious how he's intending to do the village. Nice. Is that? I think that was pre-Zelda Gamer room. I'm so bad with Eastern room names.
I wasn't aware it had a name.
Or no, that was Zelda Gamer because the last one's Double Readies. It all predates my knowledge of NMG, so either way, decent room.
Well, JP picking up his first crystal at 15 minutes and change. PH finding that tempered sword that he might have wished he had a little sooner.
Yeah, and JP is going to save and quit here. PH is going to show us what Magic Bat has. And we will see. JP looks like playing it straight up, doing South Shore. PH doing funny things with his orientation for powdering the bat.
I've only seen that a couple times. It's really stylish. And fake boots.
We've got $20. Yeah. Oh, and there's that Moon Pearl. Okay, so when JP ends up on the pyramid, he will be able to continue straight on to pod, probably, is what I would expect to see happen. Or, I guess, go get hammer and then straight to pod, but so it's not going to be any difference in save and quit numbers. And looks like PH is going to blind do the race game, so this is going to save a couple seconds for JP. We'll see if PH decides to take these 3 bombs or not. And JP, no sword beams here in Smoldorm Cave, so is going to try and use a bomb for this last guy, and he's being non-compliant. Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Nicely done.
And yeah, I expect PH is headed straight for Eastern, gonna follow exactly what we saw from JP, but probably will run down after Eastern and then double that up with pod.
Yeah, not having the mirror makes sense to do in this order. I mean, there's always the chance the mirror turns up in pod, but not something you want to bank on.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these little differences in decision making play out. If Ice Rod caves something important, which it is not, I was going to say that could potentially be something PH might not get to for a while. PH is leveraging... Oh no! Was that a crab?
Yep.
They do that.
Well, is JP gonna just go to Aga now?
I wouldn't be surprised, although I probably would have grabbed an extra heart from Link's house just because having beams for some of the room strats you get to do in Castle Tower can be really nice. But I guess JP does have a bow and 22 arrows, so you could just use arrow strats for a lot of the rooms. It really depends on what runners are comfortable with. but with Tempered Sword should be, I mean, as cozy as the tower can be on 3 hearts green mail. So there's a lot of stuff that still hits pretty hard, but... Oh, and there we're going to pick up our beams. If we want beams for blue guards, we've got them. And JP is not trying to preserve his Fairy Drop for Turtle Rock. It's not even the right prize pack. It's randomized. The red guards actually have the good prize pack in this one, but the principle was there, and yeah, you like seeing strat homages to various categories.
I've never heard of this. Is that a thing people do?
Oh yeah, it's an NMG thing. So when you dash kill an enemy, they don't drop prizes, and so you want to set up to kill certain enemies in ways that they won't drop prizes and advance the prize pack, so that you can preserve a fairy and a full magic decanter for Turtle Rock, which come out of the enemies that share a prize pack with the Hoku Bokus or Pokies. And so a big part of how you're doing some of the fighting in the game and which enemies you have to kill is avoiding generating drops to potentially advance that prize pack too far. And so PH's dash killing of the blue guards in the second room of Castle Tower is absolutely a strat that's motivated by that, but it works out to be pretty fast too.
Yeah, the inner workings of this game are truly fascinating. And believe it or not, I found out for the first time just yesterday that dashing through enemies doesn't make them drop stuff. Weird that it's coming up again a day later.
It's weird how that stuff comes up. But yeah, JP just about into the 0 blue ball Aga fight. We'll get the same blue balls, that is seeded RNG for the ROM. And PH into the upstairs of Eastern Palace. So we'll see what the runners do after this. Again, I expect JP probably will go get the hammer pretty much straight away. That might lead into playing Dark World from Village of Outcast, whereas I think PH is going to run right down and get into the portal to Pod.
Yeah, I suppose if you're on that side of the world and having the Mitzi, so you don't have to go the long way around, you can just get in, go to Village of Outcasts or Skullwoods.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe not Skullwoods, but at least Thieves is beatable over there, and that is a crystal. So Pendant Skull, by virtue of having a bunch of small keys and not having a bunch of chests behind doors that are locked by those small keys, has an algorithmic bias in terms of how valuable its checks are. But I don't know if that pull is going to be enough to pull JP into the dungeon. We'll see.
That's a very good point, because I guess it's very different in key sanity modes, where there are a bunch of free checks at the front.
Oh yeah, in keys, I mean, there's so much equity in that, but it does only have 2 prizes, and it looks like PH is not going to Pod, so I'm a little surprised.
Oh, he doesn't have the Moon Pearl yet.
Oh, that part, yes. The thing that he didn't do is South Shore and the dam where the Moon Pearl is. That would be a reason to not go that way. That's a great observation. I was talking to you pre-race about my predilection to solo comms from time to time, and thank you for saving me from myself.
Oh, you're more than welcome. I'm sure you're going to return the favor at some point today.
Probably not.
Well, there's JP's hammer.
Yep, collect the hammer, and PH has split Smoldorm Cave and Ice Rod Cave against Dam and Agina, which is more efficient if you're going to do Dam and Agina, but it means that he doesn't get his Moon Pearl as early this time. And looks like JP's headed up the mountain now that he has his hammer, which you get that save and quit, not going into the Dark World. So what do I know? The runners are both doing things different from what I expected. PH, because I didn't understand what Moon Pearl does, and JP, because he just made a different choice, also a completely defensible choice.
Yeah, because of the save and quit point, this doesn't really cost you any time, even if there isn't anything up here.
Yeah, it costs you time if the flute is off the mountain, because you're probably activating that flute, and you could get up here faster than going through the cave. That said, and also this double left side mountain may not work out to be great, but if there's something up here, JP can probably pretty safely assume that he'd be the first one to it. And it's just bombs. And we'll see what Zora's domain has, if anything. If Zora has an important item, that's one that PH might be able to put in the I am probably here first column.
Yeah, especially with JP taking that crab death.
And that is a potentially important item. At least in terms of time save, that one might add up for PH over the course of the seed, because it's not guaranteed that JP's ever going to get that.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see.
And JP is starting the Dark World run from the Hype Cave area here. So we'll see which way this goes. We do have mitts, but we don't have mirror, so going left is a little awkward, but does allow you to get cleanly up into village. But looks like the play is over to the pod area. I like this. We already know that it's a blue boomerang that JP has taken a pass on in the pyramid ledge. The red crystals, one of them being Mire, potentially puts those red crystals pretty late, so who knows if we actually ever go back over for Pyramid Fairy. I guess we are just a flute away from Mire plus a medallion, so might happen sooner than later.
Yeah, that flute would be very convenient.
Yeah, expect to see the follow here over to the pod area from PH. Probably after Hype Cave, but we'll see how this works out. PH was really rooting for like Eastern to have that pearl and to be able to do pod right with... Oh man, PH is not in a great health situation. See if this is a refill. It was not. I don't know what the heart piece counts are.
Well, let's see. JP... Oh, got a heart container from the old man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking we're not one away from a heart refill, I think.
Yeah, we got one, and PH is headed a different direction here.
He is going west. Okay.
Interesting screen route. Not sure how I feel about that one, but maybe he was just a little indecisive. And we are going to go left. Oh, and there is a heart piece. Still not enough for that refill.
Oh, nice fairy.
Nice bush fairy.
I'm wondering if being on half a heart might have factored into his decision, but who knows?
I imagine it probably did. Not majorly, just because there's not a ton of stuff that is probably going to hit you on the way through that overworld screen. But like, it's not unprecedented to take a hit there, and this is safer in terms of the potential risk. Like, if you get hit when you don't expect to, how bad does that go? What's the time loss? And putting off dig game for a while would be something that, most runners would be kind of comfortable with. Plus, with the mitts, it allows you up into village. It might be worth asking PH later whether this left play from Hype as opposed to going to the right was based on the health situation. May have just wanted some more overworld checks before getting into dungeons.
Oh, hey, there's our flute.
Well then.
Now, if we could find a mirror here in the village, that would be the most convenient thing ever.
Yeah. That would be convenient. We're going to get to do Thieves Town, so PH has at least 6 more checks. to find a mirror. Oh, he's not going to find it. Ain't that the way? You do Eastern first, your mirror's in pod.
Oh, PH is going to get the Smith now.
Okay. I don't hate it, because you're going back to village to activate your flute, and you have the mitts for the mitts portal anyway, so this actually works out pretty clean.
Oh yeah, and then you're right there to do the north village checks.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is quick thinking from PH. I like it.
Yeah, PH has had some nice consolidation and responsiveness to the items he's gotten, in terms of like known hammer pivoting to Aga to try and give himself chances to consolidate some checks. JP setting up a death warp here. And it's Book of Medora in Big Chest Pod.
Now, I'm wondering, is there a reason for this death warp, or did he just forget he had the mirror?
I believe it was a forget how mirror works death warp.
Yeah, it's been known to happen.
Yeah, I mean, he'd already routed to the right side, though, and I think it actually still saves time. Because you're already in U basement, and you didn't hammer jump because of, well, I'm not really sure why, because it was a 5-key front of pod. But you ended up with a linear route into the big chest, and basically would have had to do a top hammer jump and then come out through the door from the maze. Or you would have had to run back out from the big chest, and both those are kind of slow.
Yeah, makes sense. So like you were saying earlier, PH having that flute now gets to save a little bit of time on the mountain climb.
Yeah, I would say PH has been benefiting a little bit more from item locations playing harmoniously with routing choices than JP so far, but nothing super major. And JP having that mirror first is going to grind away some of that time. There's not really a ton of situational advantage to that mirror other than for Smith and Flute, where JP will save a big chunk of time over PH. Won't have to run from Sanctuary to activate that Flute. So that's something that we can bank for JP for later. It's going to end up saving upwards of 20 seconds. Right, now we got Helmasaur King. And good despawn on the fireball there. Oh. And GP getting the Helma runs down to the wall and hangs out with you there. RNG, which is really nice if you're ready for it, and can be really terrifying if you're not.
Yeah, but especially with this little health. There's a lot of seeds we've seen lately. We've got blue mail at least. They're like way more hearts than this.
Yeah, this one's being pretty nice on all of the non-health and safety resources. And powder's a nice safety. But consequently is being a little more stingy with the hearts. I mean, it's hard for the game to give you all the unique menu items and all of the hearts.
Yeah, that's definitely true.
It does happen, but junk fill has to be somewhere. It looks like PH is gonna also discover the joy of the 5 small key front. And JP is headed up this way, maybe wants to read Pedestal, is my best guess for this, because you don't need to take the hammer entry. So it looks like this is going to be a ped read just to get a handle on, do I need to finish all my pendants today? Which, the earlier you get that information, the better.
Yeah, there are a couple of outstanding items we do need.
3 bombs. Yeah. Not among the required things, but fairly modest cost to acquiring that knowledge. And now we take the the hammer portal. Probably the only condition under which we're going to see the hammer portal taken today.
And we will get to see these other checks in the North Village that PH left for later.
Nice little stair extension there from PH on the auto stairs. Love to see that. It was a good pod layout for that route. And JP is going to go straight into Thieves Town, which makes a lot of sense.
So after all of this, the mirror gives us the rest of the mountain access.
Yes, Mirror does give us all of the East Mountain stuff. Part of Hookshot Cave requires hovering, and we can't go into Turtle Rock yet without any rods or medallions, but there is a lot of equity up on the mountain.
Including Ether Tablet, as that book pickup just reminded me.
Yep. Ether, Green Pendant Hera, which is, not my idea of a good time, but could potentially come up. And then all the stuff over on the East Mountain.
Yeah, so without medallions, Mire and TR are out. Without the flippers, Swamp and Ice logically are out. So the mountain would be the most sensible place to go, I think.
I mean, with that flute, Mire Overworld's not looking too bad. It's quick to get back to, has some checks. You have to find the big key. I wouldn't even blame someone for heading into Mire, but yeah, Mountain definitely is the largest volume.
I can see checking like maybe Mire Shed.
Yeah, that checkerboard cave, get your medallion info. It's pretty quick. If you find a hook shot, it saves you a bunch of time potentially. Well, the crickets are
ouch.
Getting JP pretty good here, but at least the floor got bombed open, and so the most important part is done. And getting used to all that powder.
That poor anti-fairy getting hit twice.
I mean, it had the audacity to respawn.
Fair enough. Oh, PH needs to be careful.
Yep. Took a fireball there. And this is not a particularly...
Oh, yikes.
That was a little bit something there, PH, but he made it work. Did have silvers to finish phase 2 quickly.
Well done.
Wasn't worried for a moment.
Well, your nerves are more steely than mine.
That's what we'll claim. JP getting 5 rupees out of Thieves Town big chest. So pretty much full clear Thieves Town required. So assuming that you're not in go mode. And the rods today are hiding.
Well, we saw the fire rod on Lake Hylia Island, but the ice rod definitely hiding like it loves to do.
Yeah, and the flippers, who knows? JP a little off script here. Looks like we're gonna back this up with some Samaria. Not bad.
Nicely done.
Yep. And PH does head to the Mire area. Gets blue mail, which not unwelcome.
Yeah, still on just 6 hearts.
And looks like PH is at least going into the light world.
Oh yeah, you want that.
He thought about maybe not taking it, but he's like, he just about died to Helma 35 seconds ago, so maybe, just maybe, I don't want my hubris to be my undoing. and just a bug net and sea house. So ph not really missing out on anything too much. Still, you know, not too much major in Thieves Town. JP will be getting the flute here, presumably fairly soon.
Okay, so PH got the big key, but didn't open the big key chest. But found one item, and I guess that's good enough for him for this trip.
Yeah, Pendant Desert, kind of not real wild about doing it. There's plenty of other things.
Right, because he knows then that the small key would have to be in there after opening the middle chest, and then
yeah,
you don't want to make the whole trek over to the right side.
Exactly, it's a reasonable corner to cut.
Yeah, definitely a reason these runners are in the tournament, and I'm not.
I mean, it's always harder to keep track of some of these like weird in situ sort of like features of seeds while commentating. At least it is for me. And ooh, that's a thing.
Flippers.
Yeah, so that's flippers and fire rod.
And then conveniently, the fire rod right there, you can go straight to ice if you wanted.
Yeah. And so that makes you glad you grabbed that desert ledge heart, probably. But it looks like PH is going to play up toward village again, probably for thieves. This is interesting because PH doesn't know about the fire rod on Highley Island. He didn't scout that, only JP did.
No, he did when he went before he went to Zora.
Oh, he did it with Zora. Yeah, so then I don't know why you don't go grab the fire rod here first. This is the first of those like potential route consolidation choices from PH that he's not doing. And this is one that I really don't understand. Because I would think I would want that fire rod before being up here. I guess Skull is a pendant, so maybe you just really don't want to go there anyway.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because Thieves Town is definitely required and full clearable. Is there much of a benefit to just going to ice first, or?
Yeah, and with Samaria already, getting into ice is nice. Although without a magic extension or extra magic source, so maybe this is just like a Ice Palace magic situation could potentially get wacky, and I just want to not put myself in bad situations sort of play. It's a beatable crystal, and it's very likely that you're going to full clear it. It's fairly linear, all things said and done, once you finish the front of the dungeon. We get to hear JP activating the flute. Did leave the purple chest down by the portal. Interesting, or it'll be interesting to see how that purple chest gets re-grabbed. I'm always hesitant to leave it too close to this portal, but okay, it snapped right to him. Good. They just have to go around the tree a little bit.
JP's going to be able to check K45, which we haven't seen yet.
Yeah, that'll be some new information, and we'll be able to do Bombo's tab with this purple chest turn in.
Very good point.
So those are both nice pickups. PH is using that blue boom from Pyramid to stun the crickets. Won't get as beaten up by them. And nothing in Cave 45. Well, a quarter heart in Cave 45, but JP is not going to take that.
Oh, I didn't notice this before, but full magic drop is the stun prize.
I was just going to comment on that. Yeah, now there's not a ton of stuff we can stun with the boomerang in Ice Palace though, so it doesn't make a huge difference for specifically ice, which is the potential point of concern for PH here. Let's see what Bombo's tab is. This could be potentially interesting. Dash buffer there on trying to open the chest. Gave PH a falling tile there in that room. Kind of gross, but that's okay. And again, Bombo's tab, not really anything. Although, if PH does come back and clean it up, that will end up making a difference. We'll see with JP scouting that heart whether he decides to actually grab it or whether he's going to just potentially avoid desert altogether on this this area dip. And we see both runners choosing to do this before going up the mountain, and I'm not too surprised by that. Does get that medallion info. Did JP jump in the water, or did we get the frame perfect dash? Either way, we're dashing right up the middle of Mire Shed. Oh, looks like we're definitely getting our iframes off jumping in the water. They're not going to persist into desert, but yeah, is what it is. But yeah, he is going to dive into desert, but isn't going to take the full art container. PH is going to find his bug net here in the Sea House. So we're at bug net parity if either runner wants to catch a fairy or a bee or something.
Yeah, we've even got an empty bottle to make use of.
And JP looks like he is going to get the... or no, he hasn't done the middle chest yet, so he's going to get the small key. We'll see if he decides to play over to the right side. It would be a long time before PH comes back to this particular item.
Oh, absolutely.
So if JP does play to right side desert, does find an item there, and I expect with the small key early, it's so much lower cost to do right side here that you probably just do it. And
he didn't do checkerboard cave yet, but if he's leaving through the right, he could go right to Agina and get his flippers.
I wouldn't want to strand the portal against checkerboard cave though, so I expect him to mirror back to left side. And
another bottle.
Okay, so the second item was available, but like all the other checks that JP has that PH hasn't gotten yet, it's nothing that's going to be a crisis for PH. But yeah, this is going to be the mirror back checkerboard into Agina, probably? Yeah, there's Agina, okay. I say Agina would be a weird and unfortunate corner to cut here. I've seen players do it. But I don't think either runner has a real reason to feel like they're wildly behind. PH is kind of chilling on this menu. Not real sure what that was about, but maybe just needed a second to think about choices. Where are we headed?
Oh, we never saw the camper.
Yep, we got the old hobo into probable Hylia Island check. Get that fire rod, and we'll see where that goes. Probably Ice Palace.
Yeah, that would make the most sense, I think.
Yeah, I mean, ice with Samaria, fairly linear, beatable crystal that you are in the part of the map of. That said, not that bad to come back to it from fluting to 8. And against my expectation there, JP actually the first one to the fire rod. But PH not far behind and is going to jump off and head right for Ice Palace. The menu hesitation might have been like, do I really want to go do Ice Palace here? But the answer is yeah, you really do. There's just not a lot of compelling other options, and JP also into Ice Palace. Cool blueberry RNG there. Getting the can't really do much about it option there. Just
I'm so used to seeing the hookshot just come out there, but we don't have one.
Yeah, JP has beams. PH's best option, I mean, like Samaria or Silver Arrow, maybe. But like, at some point, you're just like, I'm just gonna wait this out. Do get an item here in Pen Gators in the first chest. Expect with well, never mind. I'll just see what the runners do here, and looks like PH is going to go to the right and is going to get the big key immediately, so that's going to work out for him. And JP is going to do the same thing.
It's pretty cool how we've got this convergence now after our runners did different dungeons in different orders and all that.
Yeah, JP
And
up a little
shield.
bit in terms of getting the second item out of Desert, having a little bit more on Overworld. Let's see. I feel like PH is up something, and I'm not sure what that something is.
Well, I mean, the silvers are something.
Yeah, the Zoras, that's where the difference was. That I was gonna say PH didn't lose that much time elsewhere, but yeah, it was the Zora's domain stuff. That makes sense.
Yeah, just a couple extra checks here and there, breaking in PH's favor, and nice half magic.
Yeah.
Actually, that's really nice to have here in Ice.
Yeah. And PH is going to remember to grab the small key that he needs, and that was the third item as well, so he's going to be able to go right to Cold Stare from this. We got Rupee, Red Rupee, Shield, and the Half Magic. Half Magic could not have come at a better time. And so JP had made a trip up to the Witch's Hut, but I think PH is probably going to dodge that as well.
Yeah, he does have a free green potion from Waterfall Fairy from earlier, but he's probably not going to need it.
Now, at this point, we're 9 hearts, blue mail, half magic fire rod. So, nice ancilla there. Good old splash damage. And we are Samaria locked in Ice Palace. Nobody cares. It has 0 logical implications for the seed, but we are Samaria locked. We'll see how JP handles his Cold Stare fight. Is going to do a more conventional sort of top right corner and needs to, not get bullied too bad, and doesn't, so makes it through.
Yeah, really nice fights from both runners.
And now we are finally going to get to see what's going on up the mountain here.
We still need Bombos, potentially a second medallion, Hookshot, and Ice Rod.
You say potentially... Oh, yeah, it's potentially a second medallion in the... Yeah, the Bombos Plus sense, yes. That, I believe, is a full accounting. So, 52 minutes in, the seed turned out less brisk than it was looking early, but still kind of a good spot that we're in.
Yeah, it hasn't been terribly rude yet.
No. Both runners found their hammer early and kind of were able to just kind of cruise through it to this point. PH is in Dependent Hera. We'll see how much of Pendant Hera gets done here. There's definitely defensible decisions in a few different directions. JP saving a little bit of time with a bomb on that stair climb. You'll love to see it. And I imagine we're going to get the Ether tab as well from JP, and may or may not get Hera. I think we've seen 0 items in Hera so far.
That's right.
It was like Compass, Big Key, And so we'll see if PH finds anything upstairs. Found a map. Great.
Oh boy!
Looks like JP is also at least doing the first 2 checks. We'll see if he continues once he finds the big key here.
No,
Yeah,
he's out. Okay.
JP's out, so we'll see. Likely time save, but at least a point of divergence. Nice enraged cycle there for PH.
But he recovers nicely and gets the small key, of course.
Of course. I think, I don't know, you've got a second item locked up, but green pendant turn-in's slow. Is it? I don't know. I might do basement here if I'm PH. And PH is not doing it.
I mean, this is also totally fair.
Yeah.
You could come back here after doing the rest of the mountain. Maybe.
I think that basement's gone. Yeah. These are just, like, this is the space where, like, runners can win or lose races, but, like, there's not an objectively right decision. Like, there's not something that, you know, stay or leave there. You know, neither of those is wrong. They'll just work out either fortunately or unfortunately in a given seed.
Hey, there's bottle percent for JP.
Lovely.
Hey, so in a sense, the items in Hera, we got the shovel, the green pendant, and the small key, all of which are sort of fetch quests.
Yes. It was not excellent. Oh,
hey, there's Bombos.
There is beatable Misery Mire. So
and Red Mail.
Don't think we're going to see JP heading back into Tower of Hera anytime soon. We'll see what happens here. I suspect we're going to get at least a 3-check Dark Mountain. I don't know about JP and hovering. I don't think JP hovers. I know PH does. That said, who knows whether the choice to hover Hookshot Cave will be made, or whether it'll even be relevant. The hookshot might be right here, or in the bonk chest. It's not right here, though.
I mean, it's been in the bonk chest in this tournament.
Yeah. I've had at least 2 or 3 hookshots come out of that chest over the years. It's always kind of a good chuckle. But we'll see how JP handles this one. Yep.
Well, not today.
Yep, the immediate walk-off and out. So no hookshot. We're going to get medallion info here. It is, of course, not the medallion we have. And JP is headed back left. I guess... Is this Spike? We don't really have resources for Spike Cave, do we? Okay, we're headed to Hera, and PH is going to hover this. We're probably not finding our hookshot here, but we'll see if he finds anything good. Oh, we found -1 heart. He found +1 heart.
Oh, oops.
You love to see it. Yeah, you gotta keep your sword beams. I understand, dude. He's like, nah, heck this.
So, Spiral Cave now from PH. He's probably not going to go back to Hera then.
No. Second item Hera is just not on the menu for PH. Same thing with second item Desert, which we know he's going to get away with that one. I was going to say, that was not a good pixel, JP.
Oh no.
But we're taking the 2-floor fall here. And I think we might just bail. No. Oh, we're going back in. Okay.
Well, gotta admire their perseverance.
Yeah, you do love to see it. Especially because it plays slightly in PH's favor, and I, for one, want to see a tiebreaker race.
Oh, who doesn't?
I do love like good races with stakes. So for anyone not familiar, we did recap this at the beginning. The state of Group B is JP is at 4-1, potentially 5-1. Okay, we're using a bonk setup. I was going to say that is not a good Y alignment without a bonk, so he's safe. But JP is 4-1. PH has lost to JP once and is 1-2 right now. Has 2 remaining races after this one against the racer who is presently 0-4 in the group, Jupiter Exile. And if PH wins this and wins those 2 races, that would force a 3-way 4-2 tie between JP, PH, and Specs. If you saw the group get rolled and looked at this group and thought, I want no part of that, all 3 of those runners are scary. I don't actually know Jupiter Exile may also be independently scary. But yeah, I'd love to see this one come down to a tiebreaker race. I think that'll be a lot of fun.
So JP's being thorough here. Going to do the second item in Hera, and I can't imagine him leaving without Spike Cave. No invincibility items, but he does have 3 blue potions on him.
You got 3 blues? I mean, yeah. It's out of logic, whereas at least Hera Basement is in logic. Doing slow out of logic things that, I mean, if you have to come back later, it's kind of gross, but, you know, hard to say. I could see leaving Spike Cave here, but, I mean, if you're here, be thorough also makes sense. PH, so far nothing out of Mire, but, you know, is a crystal, does need to get done.
Right, big moment coming up here for JP.
True to all of the other extra checks where JP has been thorough and PH has either cut a corner or just not, like, routed in that direction. Not turning out to be anything. It's strange. JP is like 0-4 on such divergences, and PH is like 1-0 on such divergences, and JP is doing Spike Cave.
Now, I forget. I think if you have 14 hearts, you can do this, so, Oh, he's just playing it safe there.
Yeah.
Or maybe he needed to, I don't know.
It was very tight.
Another check not paying off. Vanilla Big Key and Mire, love it.
Yeah, definitely what PH wanted to see there in terms of I'm not losing time by doing this. And I think he did route most of left side all at once. I don't think we went at least to right side. I think he went back for lobby first. And
yes.
That's what it looks like he's doing. So, yeah. I saw him at least dash right out of the top chest on the left side. And we'll see where those Mire items are, and indeed what those Mire items are.
Wow.
So far, this has been a very backloaded Mire, and we get a full heart container. And I think the second one has to be on Vitreous, unless I missed one. If there was one in the central chest.
And
here comes that shuffle.
And Compass. And oh, hey, red boomerang. Okay.
JP wants 0 boomerangs.
Wow.
Yeah. I like boomerangs, but with half magic and Samaria, left side Ganon's tower is not that much slower. It looks like PH is preserving Spooky, so he believes he has his altitude variable set right. There was some dust kicked up, so we'll see. Okay, that frame pause did look, without any audio, like there was a switch hit, so I think he's got it. Yep.
Very nice.
There's the visual cue. And JP likewise is into Mire. PH does have the silver arrows and 30 arrows for this fight, so that's nice. Definitely do not menu to that mirror. That could present problems.
Nicely done.
Yep. But good mirrorless Vitreous fight. Love to see it.
Oh, we did see the other item then. I totally missed it. But this is crystal number 5 for PH.
Yeah, and still no ice rod, so still no hook shot either. So the ice rod's probably in swamp, but where be that hook shot? That hook shot chilling on Laser Bridge? Because of course it is.
Oh, that would be miserable, going into Hookless Swamp for Ether.
Yeah, we'll see how this plays out. We have dig spot here.
Oh, there was the other item. It was 10 arrows in Spike Chest.
Okay. Then we have what's it? The Pyramid Fairy check available. Finally.
Oh, you're quite right.
So I think that's probably one of the next things for PH. That or diving Pendant Skull looks like probably the most appetizing options. It looks like Pendant Skull across, get Graveyard Ledge and all those things. North Dark World over to Catfish. Seems like that is the call.
PH has not checked PED, so this could that information could be important to him.
We're getting some heart beeps from JP, so, and did just use all of the blue potions, so he may still have one in reserve. But I saw he used 2 in Spike Cave, and there was a B in one of the bottles, so...
Then I think he has 1 left.
Okay. I know you said that there were 3, so I'm trusting you, Blue Link. You're not empty bottle Link, after all, and so I defer to you on all matters of blue.
Oh, that is a huge power to have. I'm intimidated.
By your own power.
I mean, who isn't?
Once we know the extent of our power, it can be scary. But JP is holding it together here in this Mire, and PH, okay, is going back this way. I didn't see what exactly drew him away.
I'm not sure if falling into the hole to enter Skullwoods was intentional, but he did save and quit out.
Oh, he must have gotten locked on one side with no small key or something. I don't know. PH is going somewhere. JP's going for his Mire big key.
Oh, PH never did purple chest. That's right.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, one item in Skull, the second item is favored to be on Moth, so I can get behind it. That was kind of a rude Wizrobe there.
Yeah, the thing with Mothula being you can't find a small key on it.
Yeah. Higher value than all of the other checks, and relatively slow. JP also looking to be preserving a spooky variable there, so we'll see. I think for JP, maybe it's extra spooky because he's on 2 hearts and doesn't have those silver arrows, so this is kind of a scary Mire basement.
Oh, he got it. He's good.
Yep. Good to go. We're going to see that Pyramid Fairy check from PH, and I expect to see this Anti-Fairy up here get powdered. PH is going for a bomb dupe here with the Aga Portal. Oh, and that's not going to do it. PH, this is not good, dude. As JP's doing the objectively scarier thing.
Oh, nice arrow shot. Oh, yikes. Oh, he's got this. He's safe.
Got plenty of arrows. He is good to go. Even menus to the mirror. PH on Big Bomb, try to. Not to be deterred. We're going for the bomb dupe here. And looks good.
Nice.
Hey, there it is. First try. All right. Is the pyramid relevant? It is not. Yeah, we're going to see JP probably do pyramid here as well. Just got your second red crystal, so checks out, and we'll see. JP may even end up getting silvers here. I would suspect so, unless, I don't know, what could we get here that would... I mean, hookshot would be the thing, right? And even still, you might just clean up Zora's domain to...
Yeah, because as far as JP knows, that Ice Rod could just have been there the entire time.
Yeah, exactly. But we'll see what is on Catfish here from PH in just a moment.
And I'm sure with that crab death way time ago, it's probably been on JP's mind.
Yeah, definitely a good opportunity to get back to it, and hasn't been too relevant, although the Vitreous fight was faster for PH. PH is going to be first to that green pendant turn in.
I think JP already did this. It was just 3 bombs, I think.
Oh gosh, man, how did I miss that?
It was just before he went to the shovel.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that tracks. Yep, it was in fact 3 bombs. And are we going to see something new now? Most of the things that JP has that PH doesn't are kind of things that don't look all that attractive to go back to. And so it looks like we might be in for a hookless swamp play.
Yeah, I can't imagine what else PH would be doing here.
Yeah, there's no other good volume. PH is getting a little bamboozled by bush skulls.
Okay, JP successfully finds the front door of Skullwoods.
Yeah, so we'll see how many items are extracted from Skullwoods here and whether the second one is relevant. Well, I guess we may not see whether the second one is relevant. But with how thorough JP has been, and the fact that the competing option is, I mean, like Catfish Zora, which actually looks reasonable, and then like Hookless Swamp. I don't hate finishing Skullwoods here. I kind of like what JP has done in terms of making Skullwoods late enough in the sequence so that it's relatively attractive to finish it. And first non-small key chest in Swamp is an item, but just a piece of heart. And JP is consistent with playstyle thus far in the race, continuing deeper into Skullwoods, and is actually checking the middle chest here. With Samari, it's pretty quick. Quicker than Moth.
Well, that is all 3 of the small keys, I think.
Yeah. I think we'll probably see. I mean, at this point, because all the small keys are known, all the chests are equal value in Skull, so we'll just do them in the fastest order we can.
Yeah, that's on the second item.
Yep.
And there's the compass.
Of course. All right, onward to Moth.
I mean, this could be huge.
Yeah, if this is a relevant item, That's going to be pretty big. Like, if it's the hook shot, I mean, that's obviously going to be a potentially big time save in Swamp. And like the other things that PH has not gotten on the first trip, it's not especially attractive to go back for, but at the same time, PH is going to be like out of anything but gross options fairly soon.
Yeah, that's the downside to skipping a lot of stuff.
And
Heart container.
yeah, so PH appears to be sniffing the right direction here. But yeah, JP again not finding anything in the extra check, which kind of has been the narrative of a lot of this race.
Now, it looks like he is walking out, so he's still got Graveyard Ledge, like you said. I don't think we saw Bumper Ledge.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen Bumper Ledge. Oh, there's the hook shot in a silly spot.
Well, that is pretty silly.
And oh, there's the cape in a silly spot if this is like our ice rod up here. But yeah, without having a known cape location, it makes some sense to not have gotten over here to scout this. But Graveyard Ledge, I don't know. If it's Ice Rod and Graveyard Ledge, I think PH gets there fairly quickly just because now with the cape it makes some sense to go up to the North Dark World, although you do need a small key, dude. And is Graveyard Ledge another silly nothing check? Yep.
Wow, nothing paying off for JP.
Yeah. I mean, we're about to get Ether Medallion in the back of Swamp Palace here, and then go straight to Turtle Rock and find Ice Rod or something. Like, that's just the way this seed has gone for JP. I don't think there's a lot of other options but that. Now, JP looks to be on the path for finding those solar arrows.
Well, they'll be nice to have at least.
It's on Argus. It's deeper in Hookshot Cave. Come on, game.
Or we could just have Big Key on Argus and then have to go back for the big chest.
Yeah, and I mean that's a live out for JP potentially. I could see PH the way he's been playing this cutting that corner, especially 116, and you start to feel a little nervous. But I would say, to the extent that PH clears the things, right now it looks like he's probably not going to chase back a lot of those dead items that JP has gotten and should be in the driver's seat in this one. But we do get the big key, so we'll see if he goes back in. It's really that against a bunch of gross stuff. North Dark World, which does have 2 items that are pretty reasonable to get between Bumper and Graveyard Ledge, and then like Hookshot Cave. So yeah, PH is going back in. I think it's like 50-ish seconds for this. JP does get those silvers, and saving quitting from Zora's Domain. And probably next into Swamp. I don't think there's anything left for JP.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So, Hookless Swamp will get Hook, and then...
Wow!
And PH is being thorough in the spots where he needs to be. So... Good for PH. And we'll see where that Ice Rod pops. But at this point, I mean, Hookshot Cave into Turtle Rock Dive is kind of the thing. PH doesn't know it, but like it kind of has to be somewhere in that sequence.
Yeah, and with the ice rod being the only thing we're looking for, like that could have been anywhere, and
Yeah.
those JP's thoroughness just didn't pay out today.
Yeah, now, if I'm PH, I do contemplate whether or not I want to do Graveyard Ledge here, just because I think that's the last mirror check that he has in the world, and so it would guarantee the portal save. But he's just saying, you know, Graveyard Ledge or lose my portal, and that's fine too. There's a question in chat about how this works if it does end up in a three-way tie, which of course is contingent on PH winning this race and then also winning 2 more races, both of them against Jupiter Exile. So far from a foregone conclusion in any case, but I'll try and pull up the tournament rules here to get an answer from the rules document and see if we can figure out exactly what would happen with that 4-way tie, because PH did split with Specs. JP, because of the records, therefore must have also split with Specs. And PH is down 1 against JP, so if he wins this, we'll have split with JP.
Oh, the man himself, Specs, confirming he did split with both of our current runners.
Yes, I because of the way the matches are reported on Challenge, the possibilities were that, or that PH was up 1 against JP and had lost both against Specs, which could have had... I think it would have necessitated a different situation in like how the game's played out, but it looks like it maybe splits for all of those runners all around on Group B. Either way, I will try and figure out what the implications of that potential 3-way tie would be.
And I'll keep 2 eyes out for that ice rod.
It's somewhere.
That is probably true.
The way you say probably worries me. Yeah, JP must go to left side swamp, therefore is going to left side swamp.
Oh, wow.
You'll love to see it. Cool mushroom. Mushroom is portal savable, so, you know, it's bad, but, you know.
That'd be a really funny final joke this seed played on us. Alright, JP dropping in on his hook shot. Yes, chat tablets and desert were both all checked.
All right, so as best I can tell from the rules document, the only metric for whether runners are tied or not is overall win-loss record. And the way a 3-way tiebreaker at the top... Oh, JP also skipping this small key. Man, runners are just not used to going into swamp without hookshot anymore. Like, that's clearly what's happening.
Well, not only that, but finding the hookshot where you're looking for it.
Yeah. But either way, a 3-way tie at the top of the group would be a 3-way race with first and second advancing to brackets. So it would be a don't be in third race if PH wins this and then is able to win his remaining 2 races.
And I guess the math of being in a 3-player race can change some of your metagaming decisions if your goal is to just not be third.
Oh yeah. I mean, ask anyone who has played in the large cross keys tournament play-ins that happen every year for brackets in the X2 bracket. Like, those races are so different.
Oh, hey, gold sword.
Yeah, don't come in last is a lot different from come in first. Now, who knows what each runner would elect to do. I do love the theory crafting of it all in terms of how to modify strategies and things, but...
Oh, wow.
Hey!
So the mushroom was actually just a joke, okay.
Yeah. So that is actual go mode for PH. And he will not be checking any of the garbage things that he left behind. PH trying to do some NMG strats there in Crystal Roller and instead doing some get bullied by the roller strats.
And he is going back in. Very good. I mean,
yeah.
He really didn't have much else.
So, yeah, for JP, it's go back in or go to Hookshot Cave. And, I mean, if there's a 25% chance that it's here in the big chest, you really don't want to be wrong about that.
Yeah, that is the funny thing about being thorough and not finding things, is that you want to save time, but at the same time, the more you've checked, the more likely your next thorough check is to pay off.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thorough, you just have to leverage, really, execute well, and then hope that my opponent skipped the thing. And in this case, it's not untenable to have skipped that Ether Medallion, although it's also, because the hookshot was in Swamp, fairly likely that you've cleared most things before you get to that hookshot. But with the game forcing you to do early left side Swamp and then Argus having the big key, like, it's very possible that that Ether was in, the quote-unquote best possible location for it to be for JP, but PH just chose to be thorough there, so worked out. Not quite backdoor Trinex, but still going to be a decent one cycle. Yeah, so at this point, PH is basically at parity in terms of loadout, but basically a Turtle Rock ahead, so that's a little bit more than potential for like GT routing, unless PH struggles in basement and JP goes directly for tile room or something. But like in terms of sane routing, it's and JP is going to check Hookshot Cave first. Good, you would expect this. But yeah, I forgot that this had to happen before Turtle Rock. So yeah, PH is going to be well into GT. Potentially.
Oh, speaking of GT, it's time for the guessing game, isn't it? We have just a few seconds to get our guesses in here.
Oh yes, I suppose. So PH, I think, tends to route things. I think he's probably going to Stalfos route here, but I'm not certain. I don't believe he rando rushes. Oh, it looks like he's hope routing. Okay. I like a good hope route. There is the potential that costs you some time. Oh, he's just hope and then left. That's actually very interesting. So I actually don't like this route. We'll see what he does from Stalfos room here.
Okay.
It is the Stalfos room. So he mirrors from Stalfos room and he goes up the climb.
So number 7.
Yeah, I see chat saying that the difference wouldn't have been enough even if it wasn't Compass room there, which is true, assuming that there's no disasters. But even still, just in theory, doing a hope and then left without doing compass. I mean, that's a pretty chunky potential time loss to take. So I'm curious on the choice. He may know something about JP's tendencies or something. Or maybe he just wants to run it that way. I don't know.
It's really interesting because there are some runners who will just do whatever they feel like. Some people who always have a certain thing. Other people who will adapt based on what they think their opponent's doing. It's like a whole little game in itself.
It absolutely is a game in and of itself, and as with most games, there's no way to truly win. Like there's no choice that is the best thing to do all the time. For most people, it's going to end up just being best to do whatever you execute best at, like get comfortable with a set of strats. And like if you really hate doing the right side rooms back to Ice Armos from Compass, like don't put yourself in a situation of having to do those with a rando rush, right? Like, make choices that align with where your executional comfort is.
Yeah, that's very good advice.
Because otherwise, most of the things wash out. There are probably 4 different GT basement routes, all of which are within 5 seconds of one another in terms of expected time to big key.
So interestingly, being in one item from Go mode, JP goes for the big chest first and leaves Mimic Cave behind. Unfortunately, that's not gonna, that is going to miss him his gold sword.
Because of course it is. Oh, I laugh, but like, man, like JP's skips and misfortune this particular race has been kind of cursed.
Yeah.
Like, dying to crab, missing silvers, like it's largely inconsequential stuff, and realistically, the story about the difference in this race is PH cut some corners, and none of them were the corner that would have punished. But it does just kind of feel ridiculous that, if you were going to do a garbage check, Gold Sword's not an awful garbage check to hit on.
And PH is just gonna skip a validation chest.
Yeah. If you're PH, what else do you want? A 12 heart? Like, you got half magic, you got cape, you got Gold Sword, you got silvers. And you got hundreds of NMG reps, so I think...
There's still a mirror shield out there.
Yeah. Guess. We got mushroom, we got powder.
Oh, this is a nice pattern. Wait.
Yeah. We despawned the true Aga ball by pushing Aga against the wall, but a clean 3 cycle. JP still doing backdoor Trinex, even without the gold sword. Didn't quite get that menu into Ice Rod, but still pretty clean first phase, other than the menu fail. And PH is gonna drop in, and like at this point, with what is essentially your tournament life on the line, if you're PH, like for me, nerves start to hit basically anytime I'm at like the climb or further. Like once I find the big key again in this tower, I'm just like, okay, well, now it's on me to like make good on this if I am still alive in this race. But clean first 2 phases of Ganon.
Quick fun fact, with Trinex having a map, that's 3 dungeon bosses that have their respective maps today.
As with most fun facts, fun is very subjective. But that is interesting. Oh, PH having a little bit of torch trouble. Race nerves are real.
All right, he has a chance to set up for the double here.
Yeah, that.
Ah, there we go.
This could be a triple setup even.
Nicely done.
Doesn't need it. Got the double and is gonna cross the bridge.
PH will finish in first place with an official time of 1 hour 33 minutes and 46 seconds.
GG to PH. JP about to get his big key. We'll see if he chooses to finish it up. But yeah, GG to PH gonna come to 2 and 2. Put both Specs and JP at 4 and 2 in the group and give himself a chance to be live to keep his tournament going into brackets potentially if he's able to close out the next two. So yeah, GG's. And it looks like JP has also stopped, and I see PH has been marked a winner. Should have an invite. We'll see if we get him in here to chat. Thanks again to our tracker, Dylan Lee, who has been marking things judiciously throughout, including the race finish status to get those invites sent. It looks like we have JP waiting, maybe waiting on PH to come up. But it looks hopeful that we may end up with at least one runner coming in to chat with us, which will be good.
Hopefully we'll find out any second now.
Yeah, I'm checking to see in race time right now if PH is planning on coming over. All right, looks like we got PH. Hopefully we'll have our runners up here soon. But GG's to both of them. That was an
excellent race.
Yeah, really fun race. They're both excellent runners. If you haven't and you enjoyed the race, I recommend going to follow both of them. They both have good streams. PH had unusable audio because he was assuredly talking throughout the race and does a bunch of good explaining of what he's doing as he plays. And JP has a similarly good quality stream. And so definitely recommend follow of either or both of these guys to anyone who enjoyed the race. And we are joined by our runners. Yo, GG's, guys.
GG.
Oh, GG.
Yeah, so it looked like some of this got sorted out in the race time chat, but you know, a big part of this was just the thoroughness of JP not paying off when it needed to. And PH, what sent you back into Swamp?
Oh, after I got the big key?
Yeah, just because there were a lot of other isolated checks, and then like Hookshot Cave is 3 against. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
That was the big unknown.
That's the thing. Is if I'd had, even if I was looking for 2 items, if I'd had TR access, I probably would have bailed. But the fact that I couldn't get into TR, I probably, like, if it wasn't in Swamp, I probably would have cleared a little bit more down. Like, I was thinking about trying to clean up the that, because I also I think where was Cape? Cape was down there, wasn't it?
Cape was the other left side Swamp item.
So what I was thinking, because I hadn't peeked the ledge, so I was thinking finish out Skull, and then grab the bumper ledge check in a graveyard ledge, and then probably go up to the mountain. I probably, like, if it was desert, I probably just don't get there until forever.
Yeah.
And then it was ether, and I'm like, okay, now I have way more to do up there. And if Ice Ride isn't there, I'm okay, whatever. I feel like I'm willing to take all of Hookshot Cave and all of TR but the boss.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, it was consistent with how you played thus far. You guys both played consistent races throughout, and it was a really nice race to watch on account of that. Everything really made some good sense. There was one other routing thing I wanted to ask about, but first, PH, with with going back into Swamp there, it made total sense, because I was surprised though, because that closed out one of your mirror checks for the portal save potential, that you didn't also close out Bumper Ledge into Graveyard Ledge, just to be sure you'd be able to save your portal.
We did Aga.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, yep, that was the part I missed. Because
Yeah, I forgot that too.
Yeah, even though we watched you bomb dupe expertly using
twice,
the Aga
right?
portal.
It worked great.
It was the best. It was the best bomb dupe.
It was super good.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But yeah, totally spaced on that part. Yeah, so the portal save becomes notably more difficult with Aga dead, it turns out.
Yeah. Actually, if you do have a good strat for that, feel free to shoot it to my DMs. I'd love to know.
I don't. I'm not convinced it exists.
That would have been good.
But yeah, JP, you were pretty thorough the whole way. Was that kind of your plan into the race, to just clear everything, grind it out, and let the items be where they were?
A little bit, yeah. I think I came into this one thinking, okay, regardless of what happens here, I've got at least one more race, so I'm not super worried. I kind of wanted to be thorough. And I think thorough was good up until Hera. That's when thorough really started to play against me. Because at that point I could have gone to Mire, which wouldn't have gotten me anything. But if I focused a little more on crystals, yeah, I would have probably been all right. And like the hookless swamp play is a play I'm usually not that opposed to. But what happened in this scene was just like the checks kind of lined up in a way that it made sense to be thorough. Just the checks were just in a really good spot, in a really good order for me. And honestly, one of the reasons that might have happened too is that crab death early on.
Mm-hmm.
If I don't take that crab death and I check Zora, then I might be a little more willing to go into Swamp before I'm doing at least Skull Woods and all those north checks. But because I took that death, all of a sudden now North Dark World has a bunch more value to me. So I end up checking the whole thing there, which hurts. I think overall it was just kind of a thorough idea. Just, don't take too many risks. Just play through it as clean as I can and hope it works out. And I mean, even then I was like kind of hoping there was still a couple outs, because I knew, okay, maybe PH doesn't check Lumberjack and somehow like spends half the seed looking for Hammer, or that Ether Medallion too. It's like when I found Ether Medallion, okay, maybe PH doesn't go back in for the one item and ends up on an Ether hunt. So I knew I had some outs, but I just didn't play out. It was just a rando day.
Yeah, and I'll just say really quickly, if I hadn't gotten that second sword, I probably wouldn't have checked it. I kind of like not checking it. I've seen some players that I respect a lot generally be willing to not do that early. But getting the Master Sword there, it was like, okay, we're real close to access there now. I don't feel comfortable leaving that, and it was extremely I think I did like a double take at it, if I remember right, because I was like, are you kidding me? That was like, I think I've had 4 races, and 3 of them have been Aga required in some fashion.
It's been similar for me.
Yeah.
I know at least one of my races against Exile was Aga required. Both might have been. Funnily enough, I think the one race that Aga wasn't required for you was the one you probably did Aga anyway.
Oh yeah. That's right. Actually, you make a very good point. I have done it once unnecessarily. That is an extremely good point.
Our first race, just for a little context, our first race had some pretty strong agabates, and I didn't take it, H did, and that's kind of what decided things.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had a pretty. You were in better shape because you picked a better early game route too, so it made sense. But I put myself in a position to get pulled in there, and then it was obviously once you do that, it makes it tough. But it was yeah. So I think the point there is that you're right. I'm maybe over-indexing on Aga here a little bit because of that.
Yeah. Well,
Sorry, JP, go ahead.
well, things are going to get interesting here. We're potentially headed for a three-way tiebreaker.
Yeah, PH, you've got 2 against Jupiter Exile, and if you take those down, it looks like a three-way tie between you, JP, and Specs, which, my gosh, guys, what a group draw.
Yeah.
My group is spicy, but your group is real solid.
And look, even if Specs and I were talking about it after our second race, like it would not be remotely a surprise if I lose either or both of my races to Jupiter Exile, but we've still got at minimum a tiebreaker with JP and Specs, so it should be free rando, right?
Oh yeah.
Do we do a tiebreaker race if it's just for the top 2 spots?
Maybe not. I thought we did, but maybe I'm wrong. No, you're right. I'm wrong. There's a whole logic around like seeding and stuff. I'm never mind. I'm incorrect. Sorry.
If after group stages complete, the top 2 runners in the group are tied, they will have a 1-race tiebreaker to determine the winner and second place finisher of the group.
Okay.
Period. New paragraph.
Okay, I've been wrong twice in the last 30 seconds, so I'm going to shut up.
Okay.
No, I literally had the rules doc pulled up, and I was like, let me tab over and fact check this discussion. But that is what's written in the group stage tiebreakers for advancing to brackets section.
So no matter what, I've got a tiebreaker race to play.
Yeah, that's what it looks like now, is guaranteed more JP content in Kazboot's tournament.
Yeah. Free rando, like someone said, always good.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen after I get back from vacation, I think. I think we can do tiebreaker races after the 7th, right?
I think so, since, I mean, you have to have some window, because a race that happens on the 7th could happen to prompt a tiebreaker, and they can't expect 3 people to schedule immediately, so it's probably like a 1-week buffer. Let me see if I can find dates or something.
Yeah, I mean, I have watched Jupiter Exile play, and he's solid.
Yeah.
Like, he can definitely take a game, so there's definitely nothing's decided yet.
Yeah, so groups is until July 7th, and brackets is from the 15th. And so there's an 8-day window there. From the 7th to 15th that presumably would allow for that tiebreaker to happen. But PH, I wanted to ask one more thing about the routing choices in the seed, because you did some really interesting stuff in this one that allowed you to consolidate a few things. Namely, like grabbing the hammer so that you could check bat like before even doing mid-village, and like leaving your tempered sword for an extra 10 minutes.
That sucked. I did as soon as I grabbed it, I was like, well, that would have helped on the climb or on the tower, but
I mean, you still had decent strats. Like your master sword climbs fine.
It's mostly okay. I got a little bit squirrely on the spear guard there because I didn't have a shield. I like literally face tanked the spear, and then I was like, oh yeah, I can't do that.
Yep. Sometimes NMG misleads you, but yeah, definitely noticed all of that. But like, yeah, you had a good consolidation point there, but then after you got the mirror, you, rather than going to get your fire rod, went over into the village area, and I wasn't sure why put off the fire rod there. Was it so that you could do Thieves Town and see if you had more safeties for ice because you were going to do fire rod into ice?
Absolutely, and I
Okay.
kind of was glad that I did because I'm pretty sure I would have died. At least, you never know. Like you're probably not going to play the same way, but I think I went from because I also did I think the Mire Desert cleanup quickly before that, and I went from 5 hearts or 6 hearts green mail to 8 hearts blue mail, and I still got down to 3 or 4. I think I took a lot of damage in ice, and I was feeling a little bit. I was feeling a little squirrely because, and then I also got smoked in Thieves a bunch too. I took a bunch of damage in Thieves Town, so
Yeah.
I was. I think that's what it was. I did Thieves, didn't get a bunch of stuff, went to the desert area, and then I think I went and I got the what I was planning on doing was doing that whole loop, including the purple chest. Oops, saving and quitting, and then swim to kind of what I did to pyramid, go down, get the under the bridge into fire rod into ice, because I thought that would be kind of a nice way to combo. They're not great checks, but there's a lot of them there, and they're easy to leave otherwise. I wasn't as thorough as JP, but I was trying to still make sure that I didn't leave a ton of isolated stuff too early. So I thought that would be pretty good, and then I totally blew it by forgetting to mirror for purple chest, which is not smart.
That's a-okay. And the only other thing I wanted to ask about was the hype left decision predicated on being on half a heart there rather than going into pod?
Yes.
Or
that was not great.
Yeah, what was the decision there from hype rather than to pod to go left without the mirror but with the mitts? Ultimately, you got the flute, you grabbed the smith, were able to turn it in, activate your flute, and hit on a fairly nice route there that put you off of Thieves Town for a while. But I wasn't sure about going left from hype there. Was that a health decision?
Yeah, and it was kind of the same thing. I mean, again, when I really kind of struggled in pod. Similarly, I took a bunch of damage on Helma. I almost died.
Helma was scary for both you guys, by the way. Helma pinned JP against the wall. He did that go to the bottom of the room and sit there thing.
Oh god, that's not fun.
Yeah, you handled it well, JP, but that can be a scary pattern to get.
There were some exciting boss fights for some interesting reasons on both sides. It really made the race more interesting.
Oh, that's good at least.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I don't know, Blue Link, did you have anything else you wanted to ask specific about the seed?
No, I think you covered all of my questions, actually.
Okay. So, PH, I just have to ask, are those races with Jupiter Exile on the calendar yet? Do you know when those are going to be happening?
They aren't. We have to schedule,
Okay.
and they've been really good about scheduling. It's if anything, it's probably more on me than anybody else. So I just gotta find their schedule lines up pretty well with mine, so it should be pretty straightforward, I think.
Awesome. Well, I'll hope that at least one of those gets picked up for restream. I love seeing these do or die races happen, and
God.
getting to see a diversity of runners featured on restreams. I think that group stage is a really great time to see, the run, not the same faces that you see all the time on league or deep in tournament restreams, to really get to see a number of folks. And with this potentially being the last meaningful race that you would get to play in the tournament, I was just really glad to see that we were able to get this one restreamed.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. So again, I think, but JP, really appreciate. I haven't actually gotten a chance to race JP, I don't think, and I was really pumped to this whole group. I'm really excited because it's 3 racers that I haven't had a chance to really do a lot of racing with, that I really am happy to do so. So I'm super appreciative, and then of course, thank you everyone putting the restream on. I'm super excited to watch this back.
Yeah. Good race with you too. We'll see. I wish you good luck in your races. We'll see how they play out. We'll see what we got coming up. And yeah.
Right. Thanks.
Yeah. There's at least one more race of Group B content from JPV Specs, and of course PH versus Jupiter Exile twice. but we'll see whether there's any more additional racing for Group B pre-brackets. But yeah, thank you both for coming into chat. GG's, guys. Really a fun race. Hope if you choose to watch it back that you enjoy it as much as I did. And big thanks to Blue Link for joining me on commentary, Dylan Lee for the tracking, Drossi for setting up the restream, Rick for organizing the channel and everything, and everyone for hanging out. Blue Link, I'll let you close it out.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining me. This was a lot of fun. Hopefully we get to work together again in the future. And yeah, thank you again to the runners for putting on an excellent show, and thank you everyone for joining us. We hope you had a good time, and we hope to see you for future races.